I don't support this.
Gay marriage.
No, not gay marriage, marriage.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times How I Met Your Mother tackled serious issues.
I'm proud to be from the Great White North. And I wish I was there right now. I have 15 credit cards and they're all maxed out.
Something's happened. Your father, he had a heart attack.
For this list, we'll be looking at instances where this normally hilarious sitcom took on heavier, more serious subjects. Since we'll be talking about some big plot points, a spoiler warning is in effect. Did we miss a serious life lesson from the show's run? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Breakups can be healthy. Over the course of 9 seasons, this show saw its fair share of breakups. Some didn't go so well, others went really badly.
Oh, what the hell happened here?
Jeanette and I had a little spat.
But surprisingly enough, some of the breakups on this show did go well. After beginning to hate each other, Barney and Robin decided to end things in one of the most mature ways possible. Instead of looking at it as a breakup, they decided to take a different perspective.
Well, maybe this isn't a breakup. Maybe this is two friends getting back together.
When they emerged from the diner, we saw two friends who became happier than they were when they were a couple. And even though Robin's split with Ted was sad, they both knew it was for the best. Breakups can be hard, but as Ted puts it,
sometimes things have to fall apart to make way for better things.
Number 9. Family members getting married. Throughout the show, both Ted and Barney saw members of their own families get married. Barney learned that his brother James was getting hitched while they were at a club together.
That is Tom. And he's my fiance.
This meant the suit-obsessed ladies' man would lose a reliable wingman. Ted found out his mom was getting hitched before him and declared,
"Yes, my mom was lapping me, getting married for a second time before I was even married once. I was so happy for them. So freaking happy."
Honestly, we can't blame either of these guys for not taking the news well right away. Suddenly finding out someone close to you is getting married is scary, because it may change the dynamic of the relationship. Be it mother or brother, the show takes a couple of beats to let Barney and Ted find their own way of handling this big change in their lives.
I went to my favorite real estate auction site. Come on, we've all got one. Scrolled through a few properties and... Guys! I just bought my dream house!
Number 8. Finding good in the bad.
That was the year I got left at the altar. It was the year I got knocked out by a crazy bartender. The year I got fired.
Season 4 was a rough year for Ted Mosby. When your year includes both being dumped at the altar and being beat up by a goat, among other setbacks, it's hard to find the good in any of that. But Ted claimed it as a great year. By taking this perspective, he showed us that despite the obstacles, he still managed to find the good around him. Our lives are not a straight line like an endless highway. They're more like a series of peaks and valleys. In order to reach those highest planes, you have to first travel upward from somewhere low.
Because if any one of those things hadn't happened, I never would have ended up in what turned out to be the best job I ever had. But more importantly, I wouldn't have met your mother. Because as you know, she was in that class.
Thankfully, Ted made his journey surrounded by his best friends. Number 7. Being homesick. Most people can relate to the idea of being homesick. You go on vacation or off to school, or maybe even take a business trip somewhere. At some point during any big trek away, many folks find themselves aching to come home.
That year, the holidays were really making Aunt Robin miss Canada. So Marshall brought her to the spot he went whenever he got homesick from Minnesota, the Walleye Saloon.
Evening, everybody. Meet Robin.
Robin experienced this feeling and really started missing her family back in Canada.
Don't let anyone in here know that you're not from Minnesota.
Why? What are they gonna do if they find out I'm from...
Does this look like a Dallas bar to you, pal?
Marshall introduced her to the Hoser Hut, a Canadian-themed bar filled with all things Canuck related. For Robin, it's just what she needed to feel just a tad closer to home.
Okay, you bumped into him, and he apologized and gave you a donut on the hose?
Oh, it's just like home.
We can all relate to finding a reminder of our roots when we've been away from the familiar for too long.
Everybody come and play. Throw every last care away. Let's go to the mall today!
Number 6. Giving love another chance. After 8 long seasons, we finally got to meet Tracy, the mother of Ted's kids. Through a single episode, we learned that she lost the love of her life at 21. Initially resistant to finding anyone new, she was surprised when she took a liking to a man named Lewis. They dated and eventually he proposed. At that surprising moment, she looked to the sky and asked her long-deceased love, Max, if she could move on.
Would it be okay if I moved on? I realize that you have no way of answering that, but, oh, okay. I will take that as a yes.
A gentle breeze assured her that she could, but then she said no to the proposal. This moment illustrated that while Lewis helped Tracy, their relationship was part of her healing process.
Give your heart and soul to me, and life will always be love beyond rose.
Breakups and lost loves always hurt, but we all recover in different ways.
But that performance, that first night I ever heard her sing, that one will always be my favorite.
Number 5, job versus love. Audiences learned very early on that Robin's biggest ambition was her career. It caused difficulties in her relationship with Ted, and was partially why she ended her marriage to Barney.
I know I'm always traveling. We both hate it when I'm gone. We both hate it when I drag you with me. Neither of us is happy. Is this just not working anymore?
But in season 4, Robin fell in love with her co-anchor. When she was offered the job of a lifetime, she turned it down in favor of staying with Dawn.
I appreciate the offer, but I can't take the job. Thanks.
I'm staying.
This was such a huge departure for Robin that Ted had to remark on it.
5 years ago, you never would have chosen love over your career, but today, you did.
In our modern world, people are often torn between achieving success in their career versus their family or love life. Episodes like this show us that it's okay to shoot and miss from time to time.
Looks like I'm getting dumber.
No, just more courageous.
Number 4, abandonment issues. The first sign of Barney having daddy issues came when we learned he thought Bob Barker was his father.
I've decided that it's time for me to meet my real father.
Your father?
That's right. My father is Bob Barker.
As the show progressed, we learned bits and pieces here and there. In season 6, we finally learned the truth.
I got your letter.
Dad?
He discovered his dad was just a normal guy with an entire other family. The crux of it all comes when Barney yells at his father. In that moment, we realized that our beloved Barney has been fighting his abandonment issues his whole life. It's a moment that may feel very familiar to anyone who's had to deal with similar issues. We got to see a self-proclaimed awesome guy expose the deep pain he's always been concealing.
You're lame, okay? You're just some lame suburban dad.
Why does that make you so mad?
Because if you were gonna be some lame suburban dad, why couldn't you have been that for me?
Number 3, extreme debt. Unless you happen to strike it rich, the odds are pretty good that you'll likely end up with at least a little bit of debt. It's something that many people deal with varying degrees of success.
We are in such a strong place financially.
They weren't, because Lily had a secret.
Hi, my name is Lily and I'm a shopaholic.
When Marshall and Lily learned about Lily's debt while they were going for a mortgage, it resulted in a large fight between the two.
Whoa.
What?
There was a fight here.
What do you mean?
Whenever Marshall and Lily have a big argument, they always leave a trail of evidence all over the apartment.
Of course, since it's Lily and Marshall, they get through it just fine. But debt, of course, can be a real problem, especially when shared between loved ones. Marriages can even end over it, so seeing Lily and Marshall finding a way to deal with it together is something we can all take note of.
When I married you, I married your problems too. The ones I knew about and the ones I didn't. So that was the deal. We'll figure this out together.
Number 2, loss of a parent. For fans of the show, we don't think anyone would argue that Marshall is one of the most likable characters.
Telling him good news is what makes it feel real to me.
I'm getting married! Yeah! I passed the bar! All right! I found an amazing Viking lamp that fits right on the coffee table as long as we don't mind stepping over the cord. That's what I'm talking about!
So when Lily gave him the news that his dad had passed away, it shocked both him and the audience.
He didn't make it.
My dad's dead?
The sheer raw emotion shown on Marshall's face is easily recognizable to anyone who has lost a parent. When Marshall yelled to God and said,
"Thank you! You took my father, the greatest man that I have ever known, and you whipped him off this earth way too young."
It's easy to recognize that kind of hurt, and for Marshall's friends, no one really knew how they should act. It was all a perfect exposition of how many of us have difficulty handling death.
Because whenever I'm starting to feel lonely or sad or you know what, or maybe a little bit cheated, at least I got the sound of his pocket to console me.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Infertility. From early on in the show, we learned that Robin was not exactly a fan of kids.
She is so cute.
Aww. Oh, do you want to hold her? Aww.
As noted earlier on this list, Robin's focus had always been on her career, not establishing a family. She saw kids in a family of her own as essentially a path that would hold her back from what she really wanted. But of course, this didn't make it any less crushing when she learned of her infertility.
This is going to be difficult to hear.
And then the doctor said a bunch of medical stuff that, well, the gist of it was this: I can't have a baby.
Robin described her feelings in heartbreaking fashion.
Never wanted that. Of course, it's one thing not to want something, it's another to be told you can't have it.
This episode beautifully captured the emotions that anyone could experience processing such heart-rending news.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.